In this video, I want to talk about the war between God and Satan. There is a war that is being fought right now all around us. We are in the midst of a real live spiritual battle that we can't see. And this battle started in heaven, and it's been going on since the beginning of time. Ephesians 6:12 says, "For our battle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, authorities, and the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realm." These two forces are in constant opposition to one another. I can kind of imagine in my mind, I can imagine God and his whole army of angels on one side. And then on the other is Satan with his legion of demons. And they're running, they're charging towards each other. Their swords are drawn, and they're colliding in this powerful, epic battle. So maybe you're thinking right now, how does this affect me? How does this invisible battle in this invisible realm affect me? And why should it matter anyways? Because, after all, we already do know that God is victorious and that the enemy is going to be defeated in the end. It's written. But what a lot of people don't realize is that we are also being attacked on the physical plane by these forces. The same evil forces that are battling in the spiritual realm are the exact same forces that are attacking and also opposing us personally here on earth. So that means if you are alive right now, if you're walking on this earth, then you are being affected by this battle. So what is going on? What is the enemy after? What is the coveted prize that he is so fiercely fighting for? Well, it's simple. It's you. It's your soul. Your very soul is what the enemy is after. And he is waging a battle against us every day that we cannot even see. He assigns demons to size us up and strategically attack us in areas of our life that we are weak and vulnerable. He studies us. He knows our habits. He knows our traits. He knows what drives us, what thrills us. He knows what makes us move, what makes us go around. He knows our fears and our insecurities. Demons have been on this earth for a very, very long time. They're not naive or lackadaisical. They know the weaknesses in our character, and they know how to bring us down. They know where we're most likely to fall into sin. And so that's what they're doing. They look for an area that we're weak. Maybe it's our mind, maybe it's our thoughts. So then what they'll do is they'll bombard our mind with intrusive, negative thoughts that will make us feel depressed or anxious or guilty, or maybe even hopeless. They like hopeless because if you're hopeless, you stop reaching out to God. You just give up. And if they can't attack us through our mind, if they can't get to us that way, then they'll use people around us to get to us. A classic example of that, an easy example, would just be the clerk at the grocery line. Have you ever been really friendly and polite and said, "Hi, how are you doing today?" And then just had the person just angrily attack you or, just throw hate your way for no reason, and you didn't deserve it in any way, and it just kind of came out of left field. And when you left, you started thinking, geez, what did I do to deserve that? What did I do? Where did that even come from? Well, that's just a classic example of how the enemy might attack you, how he might use somebody else to get to you. We are in the greatest spiritual battle that the world has ever seen. And we have to be aware. We have to be aware that the enemy is opposing us. And that what you can see with your own naked eye isn't the full picture. There's more going on. There's more behind the scenes. We're so used to thinking our reality is what we can taste, touch, and see. But there's also other factors that are coming against us that we need to be aware of. I think half the battle is just realizing that there is a battle going on, spiritually, that is. We've got to put the armor of God on. Ephesians 6:10-12 says, Put the full armor of God on so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. So before soldiers would go into battle, they would suit up with this armor, and it would just protect their bodies and their vital organs. Christians are called to put on the full armor of God daily. And we should visually imagine ourselves doing this. We should visually imagine putting on each piece. So first would be the helmet of salvation, and then the breastplate of righteousness, and the belt of truth, and then the shoes from the good news of the gospel, and then carry the sword of the Spirit, which is God's word, and hold the shield of faith, which extinguishes the fiery darts from the enemy. Hosea 4:6 says, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge." And we know that Satan is the father of lies, that he has come for the purpose to steal, kill, and destroy us. And we have to be aware of his tactics. We have to be aware of all the pitfalls and the snares that he sets up for us in our lives so that we can protect ourselves. You know, we raise our children to protect themselves. We teach them. We help them to be aware and conscious of what's happening around them in their environment. You know, we tell them not to talk to strangers, and we tell them not to cross that busy street without looking twice because there's heavy traffic and we don't want them to get ran over. Well, it's the same thing with the spiritual realm. The best protection against the enemy is just staying close to Jesus Christ. It's going in prayer with him and asking for guidance, asking for protection. And if you haven't given your life to God, if you haven't even chosen God, now is the time, because we are in the last hours. The enemy wanted to keep us oblivious to the importance of what's going on. He doesn't even want us to think about God. He doesn't even want us to think about these opposing forces or the battle, because he doesn't want us to play a part or a role, an active role for the kingdom of heaven. And he definitely doesn't want us giving our life to God. He definitely doesn't want us choosing God. So he uses distractions. So we need to do that. You know, God has given us free will, and he won't oppose on that. He's knocking at the door. He is pounding at the door, and he's waiting for you to open it. We have to do that. That's our decision to make. It's our responsibility to make. The Bible tells us to work out our salvation with fear and trembling. Nobody is going to do that for us. Nobody's going to come down and tell you, you know what? It's time. It's time to give your life to God. No, we have to do that. We have to seize that moment. We can't just throw our salvation up in the air and just expect it to come down and land perfectly. We got to get down on our knees and we got to make that choice for ourselves. And time is running out. We're not promised our tomorrows. Do it. Just do it. Don't think about it. Don't ruminate over it. Don't ask questions. Just do it. God will take you from there. He'll handle the rest. Just make the decision that you're going to give him your life. We can definitely see the enemy alive and well on the earth. We can see all of his destructions. We can see the evil forces that are in our organizations. You know, it's happening globally. All we got to do is turn on the news. There's murder. There's Christians who are being slaughtered by ISIS and children who are being killed. You know, we have a political system that is failing. But we have to remember in all of this that God is sovereign over all. He is in control, even sometimes when it doesn't look like he is. We got to remember that he has given the enemy power for a short time. His time is short, and he's using the enemy. He's allowing the enemy this power in order to fulfill his own purposes. But there's nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, that happens outside of the scope of God's control. Remember, every single one of your hairs on your head is numbered. We have to realize that the enemy is fearful of us as Christians because he is aware of how much power and authority we have in Jesus Christ's name. We have all the power and authority that we need to defeat the enemy in our life. Thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate it, guys. And if you have any comments, you can just leave them down below. Thank you.